Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Wednesday, June 21st, and crypto is absolutely ripping. So let's go ahead and quickly go over TradeFi and move into the fun stuff. So DXY dropped below this 102.4 support again, heading towards the lows down here. We mentioned if it dropped below, probably would grab this 102 level. If it drops below the 102 level, probably going to drop down here towards the 101 level. And obviously, if this is moving lower, equities are probably getting some benefits and not too much benefit, but we are seeing, DXY move lower and equities are obviously up, slightly from the open today. Obviously, open was, right here and some volatility near the actual open, but, trying to survive. This is where I would expect a bounce if we lose the 44.05 level, actually 44.04. Then you'll drop down to 43.83. And then obviously, if you lose 43.83, probably grab this level right here, and then eventually try and fill this gap right here. So eventually seeping down to 4,300, and then your break higher, you need to get above 44.40 to flip that and reattack these highs. If you this is kind of a demand zone right here, 44.35 to 44.40. So this level right here, you could see a rejection or you could see acceptance. So it's very interesting that equities are not moving anywhere near in the direction or volatility of crypto, which is quite fascinating. Don't really have a direct answer. It's probably because of the ETF narrative associated with Bitcoin, which is the most likely inference we can make. But I in terms of equities up or down, I don't have a clear read. But I will say if we do break below this 4,300 level, deviation above here, deviation above this whole range, it would probably not look good. And I would expect probably a very quick move lower. So something to watch out for on the equity side of things. For Bitcoin, crazy, crazy day. We told the TTC community get above 29.2 and we would attack 29.8. That came and went quite quickly. And we obviously zoomed all the way up to 30.8 on the hourly. So, how do we interpret this? Now I never recommend late longs. Obviously, if you were longing late longs, you've been in profit if you didn't have too much leverage and get stopped out or liquidated immediately. But, eventually, we are getting to a point where probably we are some of the most oversold on the 1 hour, 87. Let's just kind of zoom out as far as we can go and see if there's any other similar times. Last time it got this high, it was, April 26th, and we got all the way up to an 89, to which we then formed a local top and then moved lower. We also had a move up here, 88, as well as, back here. So interesting, when we were on the bullish trajectory off the lows, this coincided with, it actually moved up and tagged the 85 level 3 separate times before topping out. And then obviously ended up going higher. So, it doesn't, just because RSI is high does not mean that price will immediately start selling off. So, something to consider. It typically implies that price is getting overextended, but does not mean just because you see an 80 something RSI that we're going to immediately come back down. That is not always the case. Although, certainly it implies that is becoming more likely, I think. So if we kind of, zoom out a little bit, let's get rid of the lower stuff. Let's, get our wide body chart going. So the 31K level dates all the way back to this high from back in April. So it's not just an imaginary line sitting there. And I think it is a bit interesting that we did not fully tag 31. So, possibly that could come during this candle. It is a bit of a swing failure pattern type candle, but, didn't tag the range. So, we certainly still could move back up and then come back down. There's a million ways that we could trade this. We could do this. We could drop back down. We could not even bounce lower. We could just bounce like this and then do something like that. So it's a very precarious position, which is why I recommend playing it safely. Probably better to play it on the lower time frames now, just to kind of zoom in. Let's check the 5 minute out. And we've got, so clearer trading opportunities here. Every time the stock resets, it's been a good long. Every time RSI has, dropped, near, I think the 43 level, obviously it's been a good long today. So, probably better to trade on the lower time frames if you are looking for longs. But just to give you an overview, obviously above 31K, hold it and retest it. 32K definitely in the cards. I'm seeing 33 or 32.4, which coincides all the way back. Let this load all the way back with the highs from May of 2022. So, very significant level. And if you actually look where we're at, we're trading in this range from back in May. So very significant level here, and getting above it is a huge boost. As you can see here, not a whole lot of price action in that area. So if you get above the 32.4 level, probably going to be a laser up to, right around 34.3, which is obviously the low here. You've got another low here, which is, best, always good to look at the entirety of the situation. So this will actually act as a demand zone right here. So if you, what's the best way to see it? So this little area right here will be a demand zone for moving into this level. So you'll probably see some volatility in the 32.4, 33 area before we, try and retest that 34.5 area. So just something to consider as we move out. We'll obviously discuss those levels, more in the future, depending on how price action goes, but very much something to consider if you are a bull looking for higher time frame targets, or just potential maybe exits as well. Because if we make it up into this 32, 33 level, probably see some selling right around here as well. So it's just something to consider. But back to the main story. Above 31K, then you have enough room to ride up to 31.3K. If we do deviate back beneath 29.8, then I would expect, at least trading down back into this range, maybe down to 28.5. But again, this is definitely when shorts are coming in, but shorts have been coming in throughout this entire route. So, and my suggestion, do not just start throwing shorts at the wall just because RSI is overextended or we're at, resistance level. Could have said the same thing for pretty much every single resistance level that we, overcame. And so, better to wait for extremely clear price action. Like if this hourly closed below 29.8, then maybe I'd start entering shorts, but there's no clear indication of that. So we know above 31K, we're going to attack 32.3. Below 29.8K, we're going to probably attack 29K, maybe slightly lower. So just something to consider moving forward. But I'm not betting against the bulls right now until I see a very ugly hourly or 4-hour candle. Looking at Ethereum, now it's important to note that ETH BTC has been getting crushed. And we did mention, so we're actually at the level that we mentioned yesterday. So we did mention, get rid of this. We did mention yesterday that this was a target for this move. And if we broke below it, then things are going to get really bad. But this is where you would expect, ETH to try and make a recovery and grab back this 0.065 level, possibly get above it and kind of reach or change the ETH BTC trajectory. Now let's look at the weekly. Getting a little precarious. We do have this weekly 200 estimated moving average, so we definitely could still drop down to 0.57 and maintain some sort of bullish trend. But definitely gets worrisome the lower we go. So this is where you want ETH BTC to hold. If it does not hold, you're going to drop down to 0.057. If it does hold, you'll probably rise up to 0.065. Maybe, if we draw this trend line right here, maybe you'll get up to 0.068. But play this one safe. I wouldn't, if you're longing, I'd long ETH and Bitcoin just for good measure. But it does look like Bitcoin is going to continue to outperform ETH. But how long does it take to catch up? We're at the area of ETH BTC where you would expect it to start trying to catch up. So something to be aware of moving forward. Looking at ETH itself, talking about what we did with Bitcoin, we could definitely see this do something like that. But let's focus on what happened before. So we told the TTC community think the level was 1834, 1835. Get above that. Attack 1845, get above 1845, then you'll probably start attacking 1915. Obviously, a rejection probably send us back lower. So if we do end up deviating this in the off chance, if we do something like this, then breaking below 1845 probably going to send you back down to this level first, so somewhere around 1806. But we do have this previous daily close and the VWAP right around 1790, so I would expect this level, if we end up deviating back, to be the level that we end up tagging. Moving forward, what's the bull case? So very similar to Bitcoin. Let's just go ahead and zoom out just to show you our historical reference points. So, right up here, we got 1915. This was a big kind of stopping point for ETH for several days back in late May, early June. And then we have the May highs. Actually, I should probably move this up a little bit because those are the May highs. We'll give this because I think these are, yeah. So this is the May high, right? So these are the May highs, but this was the weekly high for back during this trading area. So let's zoom back in, refactored our lines a little bit, got a bit better of clearer vision. So if we can get above, now this is the high currently. So we need to break above this to get up to 1930. And if you get, if you stay beneath this, then you're likely to at least head back to the 1845 level, which is where that potential deviation comes into play. Hold 1845, then probably end up moving back up to 1930. So this whole area right here, 1875, well, actually really 1900 to 1850 is going to be a very critical area for moving forward. So we may see some volatility back and forth, may retest 1845. If we do, you'll probably see some more longs come in, as many people, want to long a retest of this little range area, which is, right around 1845, 1840. And then obviously you need to break above 1900 to get to 1930. So things are looking good right now, but we obviously sold off on a big volatility boost right here. So you may see things take a little bit of a pause. Again, I don't recommend just longing indiscriminately. Let's see how we retest at the support levels. If we hold those, we long to the next highs. If we drop back below, then we short down to the previous range. And that's exactly how we're going to treat this area right here. So good luck, happy trading, and congrats to all of the bulls that held strong, DCA'd, and we're trading long. I hope we get some more of this in the future, but this is the time to watch out for peak volatility, because we had basically 2 days in a row of buying. It's likely that, we at least come off the highs to some degree. So good luck, happy trading. See everybody soon.